Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Toy Collector Review with me, Sergeant Geek. And I know lately here we've been checking out a lot of the Transformer action figures with the War for Cybertron trilogy finally coming to a close, airing on Netflix in a few days. I decided to take a break from the Transformers and we're going to take a look at some of my classic action figures, and these here are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now the original Turtles was a comic book that was black and white and the Turtles all had red masks. This is the first time when it aired on television that the Turtles actually got the colored masks, elbow and knee pads, so kids can identify them real easy. Now these are some really cool action figures. They don't have a lot of articulation, but it was awesome to actually get these action figures to go along with the cartoon show. So guys, let's go ahead and let's check out these action figures right here. Alright guys, so the first figure we're going to take a look at here is Leonardo. Now all four of the Ninja Turtles actually came with like a little weapon stand with throwing axes, throwing knives, and some throwing stars along with their signature weapons. And as you can see here, Leonardo's is the two katana swords. Now this is a really cool figure. The only thing that was really hard with them was to actually get these guys to stand. They didn't have much articulation. They had a little bit in the legs, a little bit of rotation in the elbows, and you can make their arms do a 360, and their heads can either look left or right. That was about as much articulation as these figures had, but all in all, they were still some very cool figures back in the 80s. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at another one of the Turtles. Alright guys, now here we have the sarcastic smart mouth Raphael. Now as you can see, Raphael comes with two sides. You can actually strap him in the front. He has a holster on his belt where you can actually put him. Same articulation for all four Turtles, but once again, really cool. And if you notice, throughout each of these Turtles, they all got different facial expressions. But once again, a really cool action figure for anybody who loves the Turtles. Alright guys, now here we have Donatello. Now Donatello is the genius of the group, and he is also the master of the bow staff. Now if you haven't noticed it yet, for some reason back in the 80s, all the Turtles, not only did they have different color masks and knee pads and elbow pads, but apparently they all had different skin tones as well. I don't know why they did this, because in the cartoon they were all the same color green. But something as a kid I never really paid attention to. I was just happy to have these figures when they came out. So let's go ahead and let's check out the next Turtle. Alright guys, now here we have the party boy himself, Michelangelo. Now as you can see, Michelangelo does have like the orange colored mask and elbow pads and knee pads, and he is also the master of the nunchucks. As you can see here, he actually comes with two of them. You can strap them to his back, you can put them in his hands. You can do all kinds of stuff with these guys. These were great figures back in the 80s, and anybody who's a Turtle fan still finds them great to collect. So guys, let's just keep this going and let's check out some more of these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures from the 80s.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will return after these messages. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell. Splinter the Rat taught them each the ninja arts. Donatello, master of the staff. War! Leonardo, the katana blade. My God! Raphael, the sword. Don't throw this at home, kids! And Michelangelo, the nunchakus.
Radical! And master of the willing pizza.
Hey, who had the pepperoni and ice cream?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
From Playmates. We now return to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Alright, so here we have Master Splinter. Now, to be honest, Master Splinter was one of my least favorite figures. And to me, he didn't really look like a rat. He looked more like a gopher or something like that. And the figure itself is one of my least favorite figures. But he is part of the Turtle Squad, so I still had to collect them. And here we have the news reporter April O'Neil. Now, once again, a reoccurring thing with these figures is they're set up to stand in these crazy poses. So she looks kind of weird. And to be honest, she was the one that was always getting in trouble, having to be rescued by the turtles. She only comes with a camera, which apparently I don't have anymore. I couldn't find it in my accessory kit, but I'll find one on eBay eventually. But once again, this is another one that I didn't really care for back in the day, and my parents never got it for me, so I was glad I wasn't missing out on anything. Alright guys, here's one of my favorite figures from the Ninja Turtles as well. This here is Casey Jones, the vigilante out on the street. Now, I actually liked him in the show. He is a pretty cool figure, and he does come with quite a few accessories, which unfortunately I do not have. He actually came with a golf bag, with a hockey stick, baseball bat, and I think it was a cricket bat if I'm not mistaken. But once again, he was a cool character on the show. I love the way they voiced him and everything, and I just had to get his figure. I just wish I actually kept all the accessories all these years. But once again, a cool character. Alright guys, now here we have Metalhead. Now Metalhead was a robot built by Krang with all the personalities of the Turtles. I believe it was season 3 of the cartoon show, which gave him a disorder, but luckily Donatello was able to reprogram him and get him to become a 5th turtle. Now once again, he's pretty much designed the same way as the other turtles, just in a robotic configuration, but it's a cool figure. I think he only had 2 appearances on the show if I'm not mistaken, but when I saw him on the shows, I thought he was cool, so I just had to pick him up. Alright guys, this is another cool figure here. This is Genghis Frog, and he's part of a frog team, which were created by Shredder and Krang accidentally when they spilled some mutagen in a Florida swamp. That's why these guys talk with like a southern accent. They're really cool, and when they first appeared on the TV show, they were actually bad guys because Shredder tricked them into thinking that he was the good guy, but then later on they figured out who were the good guys and who were the bad guys, and they became part of the Ninja Turtle team. These guys are pretty cool. I consider them like the counterparts to the Turtles, being the frogs. I like them. I think they're awesome.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will return after these messages.
What's going on here?
It's the Turtles giving the old foot soldiers the boot with their latest invention, the cheapskate.
Whoa, dude's on a roll!
And look, in the sky, it's a bird, it's a jet, no, it's the Turtle Trooper parachute.
Sorry to drop in without calling.
Bring in the knuckleheads!
Uh-oh, those attack and grab foot machines look like real trouble for the green guy.
Whoa, getting a little carried away?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
From Playmates.
We now return to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Alright guys, now here we have Krang, the warlord from Dimension X, and for some reason whenever he got banished to our dimension, the only thing that survived was just his brain. Now, it's a weird figure. I like him on the show. Now, the one thing I don't remember, that he did have a robotic body. I don't ever remember them ever making the action figure of it. I always thought that if they did, it would be a cool thing to have. But instead, this is what they released that I can remember, and this is what I actually got. It's still pretty cool. You can take them out and do stuff with the figures, but I wish they would have did that other version of Krang. So guys, let's keep it going. Let's check out some more of these action figures. Alright guys, now here we have the Shredder. Now the Shredder is supposed to have a robe, which obviously I'm missing. He's also missing because it broke off one of the Shredder pads on his shoulder, and the 2 pads that are on his wrist broke off. He is quite old, had him for a long time. I'm trying to see on eBay if I can get me another one in better condition, but I'll have to wait until then. Once again, this is a really weird figure. He is super skinny as opposed to the way he is on the show. But once again, like I said, this is what came out in the 80s when I was growing up. So this is what I played with, and this is what I had the turtles beat the crap out of. But guys, let's keep it going. Let's move on to the next figure. Alright guys, now here we have one of Shredder's henchmen that he mutated himself. This here is Rocksteady. Once again, this is a cool figure, very limited articulation, and I believe this one is a reissue, hence why I still have his accessories. But even though he's a reissue, he's a really cool figure. I like him. He goes great on the show with the rest of the turtles, and he's a bad guy for the turtles to beat up. Alright guys, so here is the other half of the bumbling trio, and this here is Bebop. Now once again, it's a cool figure. I believe this one is a reissue again, but they look great on the shelf with the rest of my turtle collection, so I just had to pick them up. Alright guys, we're going to end the video right there. I still got a couple more figures and a vehicle to show, but we're going to leave that for the next video. Once again, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you guys can be notified every time I put a new video up on the channel. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. And share this video with every collector you know. Let's get the word out. Let's get this channel going. Once again, this is Sergeant Geek, and I'm signing off.